Hello everyone. My name is Jamie Ressler. I'm not the pastor here at Surprise, so if you're a first time here, welcome. I'm a volunteer here. Every once in a while, we need some other people to come up and speak, and this was my week to get roped into it. And so, but it's always an honor to come up here and talk, because I think a lot of this church and the people that are in it, and I think it's important to sometimes share my views. And it was something I was always scared to do before. I didn't think my opinion mattered very much, and so it matters a lot more to me now to be up here and talk to you guys. First off, every time I'm out here for a church service on Wednesday evening, it always seems like this. It's sunny, it's beautiful. I wouldn't mind a little breeze. It'd be great up here. If there's a big cloud that could come over right about there for a while, it'd be awesome too, but we'll make it through the next 15 to 20 minutes. Just a lot of sweat on my head. As you guys heard through announcements, it's been kind of a busy, weird week here for Surprise. We had our church services on this past Sunday. We had people marching in the parade on Monday. We've got our outdoor services here tonight. We've got our Church of the Ballpark coming up on this Sunday, and it's actually 6 churches that we're involved with there, so that'll be an amazing service there too. It's kind of a weird time of the year for a lot of people as well, because some people see that we're halfway through the summer already. It's kind of weird to think, because summer just started a couple weeks ago, but when you look at like the kids' school schedule, we're about halfway through their summer break right now. For some people, the biggest part of the summertime is the 4th of July, and we're past that. That's really the biggest holiday in the summertime, except for my birthday. So, I mean, we're through a lot of that important stuff. Some people are looking at the fact that we're past that 4th of July and we're at that halfway kind of point of the kids' time. It's stressful. It almost is weighing down on them, like they're on that downhill portion of that time off during the summertime and dreading what's going to be coming after that. My wife and I are kind of opposite. For one, we have a lake place, and so July and August is the best time to be out in the water. The water's warmer, and we usually have great weather like this out there all the time. I love fall. I always look forward to fall. It's my favorite time of the year. The weather cools off just a little bit. Football comes in fall. I love the NFL football. I love the Green Bay Packers. I love college football. I love the Iowa Hawkeyes. And so this time of year is kind of when I start getting excited, because it's kind of like the beginning for me. It's okay, 4th of July is over with. All the fireworks are hopefully exploded by now. And now we get to go ahead and enjoy the things I really love. We've got a vacation coming up here in a couple weeks. We're looking forward to that. And realistically, for us, the most important thing that we always are looking forward to is school starts in like a month and a half, and our kids go back to school, and they're out of the house all day long. My wife works at home. That's her favorite day of the year. I think we'll throw a huge party again this year because the kids are gone during the day, and she can relax and enjoy that stuff. But what if you are that person that is maybe dreading the fact of that we're winding down part of summer already? What if you're that person that, man, you really have a blast on Saturday night, hang out with friends, but man, as soon as that's over with, you're already dreading that Monday's coming, and Monday's going to be the absolute worst day of the week because, it's the fun time's over with, and now I got to work all week long, and I'm just always thinking about those negative things. What if you're the person that, even when you have those fun times coming, you're still just stressing about what could maybe go wrong? Or maybe you're thinking what might not go right at those times too. This summer, the whole summer long, we've been in a series called SALT. We just heard Debbie talk to the kids a little bit of history lesson about salt, and I'll talk some more about that too in my sermon here. I've been involved in church since I was, how many months old was I baptized, Mom? A month, 2 months, 1 month old? So knee-high to a grasshopper, tiny. Been involved in church my whole life. I can honestly say until I came to Surprise, I don't think I'd ever heard the term salt before in church, though. I've been going to church for, 35, 40 years before that. Now, that might be because when I was a kid in Catholic church, I really focused on 2 things. I either needed to know when to stand, kneel, or sit, because otherwise you look goofy if you're not doing everything everyone else is doing. And then I looked at what songs, they always had the song numbers up on the board, and I wanted to know if I knew those songs, if I liked those ones or not. And So that was the stuff that I focused on. So maybe they talked about salt and I just missed it. But since I've been here in Surprise, I have learned that. Some of it's because we have, if we're at church at Shiloh, we have those big screen and we have a big thing that says salt on it. And so I pay attention because it feeds to my ADHD that I have. But some of it's because I feel like we have some amazing sermons that really speak to me. And so I've learned about it. Now, I'm also a fan of history. And so I know how important salt was. And Dave mentioned some of these things. Roman soldiers received their wages in salt. Greeks considered salt to be divine. Mosaic law required that all offerings presented by the Israelites contain salt. But one of the most important properties of salt is that it's a preservative. It allowed food to be stored for long periods of time so that people weren't always having to find brand new food on every given day. They could have food, they could salt it, and they could keep it for longer periods of time. Salt stops decay. And that is what many, and I believe, that Jesus really referred to when he was talking about salt. When you are dealing with hard times in your life, what's the salt in your life? When you're dreading that bad thing that can happen to you in the near future, do you have something that you can fall back on for support? We all have different coping tools to relieve stress. You talk to friends, you go to the gym, you meditate. Sometimes you have bad habits that can develop as coping techniques. It's drinking, doing drugs. I have found that not only has Surprise Church itself been a big source of salt for me to lean on in times of stress, but also the people that I've met and became better acquainted with because of Surprise. We talk a lot about community groups here at Surprise. And sometimes I feel like we talk about it too much, but it's because of how much good they can do to the people that are involved in community groups. If you're involved in a community group right now, I guarantee that your life is better because of those people that you're in that group with. But I got to make a bit of a confession. I was not in a community group this past year. Whether it was due to lack of time, how, was going on with work, family obligations, kids are practicing with sports and this and that every other night, it seems like, health issues. All of the community groups that we had listed out there that we could sign up for just didn't work for us. But I realized something this past year. While I was not attending any of those main community groups, I found out that I'd developed my own form of community group. It was people that I had either met or strengthened my relationship because of Surprise. We don't meet on a scheduled basis, but we talk quite a bit. I gave a sermon back in January, and I talked about dealing with health issues that have been going on for some time. And unfortunately, where I was hoping to see some light back in January, I'm still dealing with the same health issues. I still don't know when the end of those health issues will be. And just for good measure, we added some additional health issues onto that as well, too. Luckily, none of them are serious. None of them are life-threatening. But I did mention to one of my doctors that I'm about ready to break an arm just so we can fix one thing on me with some easy, steps instead of just saying, we're going to try this and see how it works. We're going to try this and see how it works. When you're dealing with some of those things, they weigh on you over time. And they definitely were affecting me negatively. So with my group of people, they listen to me when I talk about these health issues. They know far too much about me, and they've told me multiple times that maybe I know a little too much about you right now. And then they make fun of me, which is good because I need that too. But they're there for me. They listen to me. We hug. And I know that if something gets worse, that I can reach out to them at any given time. And that's important. You need to have that backbone, that pillar, that salt in your life. Their friendship and support have made this last year easier to handle. So even with support like that, though, life can still feel and be overwhelming. I had a conversation with my wife just a few weeks ago about how I was at a low spot mentally, and that I might need a little bit extra help around the house, or my attitude just might be bad. And I kind of wanted to explain to her why that was. You know, sometimes you think someone's just being grumpy, or they just are being lazy. But sometimes there's something else going on, and for me, it was something else going on. And it surprised her. And she said, I've never heard you say this before. I've never heard you talk about hurting or needing help. It's tough for people. It's tough for guys. You know, most guys I know don't want to be that person that says, I am weak and I need help of some type. And I was there. And so I told her, and sometimes just saying it out loud makes it easier. When we hold those stressors inside, we're starting to decay. But the good thing is that when you have salt in your life, that salt can stop that decay. So, even though I still have multiple stressors going on, work is still busy, I still volunteer for tons of things, kids still have stuff going on every night, it seems like, and medical stuff continues to go on, and one, if not more, scheduled surgeries out on the horizon for me. I know that with the help of my family and my community group and my church family, that I will be preserved. So let's say that you have your salt in your life, whether that's attending church or a community group, or you have an amazing support group like me that is there for you when you need them. Well, then what? What do we do after that? Is our work as Christians just done? One thing that I don't think I heard Debbie mention, and that I didn't see originally too, was another thing salt was used for was as fertilizer for soil. Depending on the conditions, salt could be used to help the earth retain water. It can make fields easier to grow, to plow, to kill weeds, to protect crops from disease, to stimulate growth, and to increase the yields. Those are all massively important things to farmers. And in Jesus' time, when it was predominantly a rural farming culture, if you were called the salt of the earth, that would have been pretty significant. So if we've been preserved ourselves, it might be time to start being fertilizer. We're meant to be in those places where conditions are a little tougher, where life is hard. We've been sent to enrich, to protect against disease, to stimulate growth. And then as we scatter, life springs up in expected places. Barren lands become fruitful because of us. Although there are multiple different verses that talk about salt in the Bible, my favorite is Matthew 5:13. And part of that is because it leads directly into Matthew 5:14. And Matthew 5:14 says that you are the light of the world. And I think if you look at salt as a fertilizer, that leads right into being the light of the world. I believe that if you've done what's needed to be done to preserve yourself and stop decay, then it's our moral obligation to spread light throughout this world. So, are you the light of the world? If so, what does that look like to you? I was lucky enough to be asked to help develop Surprise Church's constitution a few years ago. And we all had our different parts to play in it. I had some of the technical terms for the board to work on, and I worked on some things for the finance team. Pastor Matt developed most of the biblical information. But there was some information in there that some of us weren't loving how it was written out. And so we went back and forth a few different things and talked about what was really important to us as surprise. And if you looked at some of the language in there, you'll see the words that it's to welcome, to show compassion, to love, respect, dignity, and of course, kindness. Only 2 weeks ago, we had Camp Kindness. And it was children through kindergarten through 5th grade. My dad is still recovering from volunteering. That's why he's not here today. He's still sore because he was going nuts for 3 days. If you look across at the landscape of what is going on in our world today, I sometimes think we might need a Camp Kindness for adults. Our world and our country are going through some unprecedented times right now. People are divided, and they say hateful things toward each other. Social media has made this easier than ever to do. And if you look at the national news channels, it seems like they all are just picking sides to report to their people that want to hear those things instead of just reporting actual news. And it can be so easy to be sucked into a conversation, defending your point of view, and then trying to prove that other person wrong. No longer do we seem to see civil discourse anymore. You rarely hear a discussion between people where someone gives their opinion and someone else who disagrees but goes, I've never thought about it that way. I'm not sure if I agree or not, but it gives me something to think about. Especially if people are conversing on Twitter or Facebook. It seems like the only options are either 100% agree or you are absolutely wrong and you're an idiot for saying so. Far too many of us have closed our minds to anyone else's opinions, believing only ourselves and our like-minded friends could be right. Is that not what happened in Jesus' time? As Jesus became more and more known, people either became a follower or they revolted against him, eventually choosing to crucify him instead of a criminal. If Jesus did come back today and didn't agree with everything we post about on social media, would we still accept him? Or would we cast him aside, as we do so many other faceless people on the internet? If we are to be the light of the world, we need to understand that that does not mean that we are right and they are wrong. It does not mean that there's only one right side and one wrong side. It does not mean that we should shame people that may have other beliefs from ours. But what it does mean is that we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We want to lead with compassion. We need to show kindness. We need to offer respect and dignity, even when we are not offered it first. And we need to love. We're often too quick to judge others on what we believe are things not accepted by Jesus. But would Jesus be judging that person? Or would he welcome them with open arms and show them loving kindness? As I invite the worship team back up, I have some homework for you. I want you to think about, who is your salt? I want you to identify who they are so that you can thank them and let them know how important they are in your life. I also want you to think about who you might be salt for. To be salt means to deliberately influence people in your life by showing them unconditional love of Christ through good deeds. Who are you influencing in your life through deliberate and intentional acts? If you're not, I urge you to try and start. Whether it's praying for someone, being a sounding board, or simply just being there for someone who needs a shoulder to cry on. Being salt for someone else can be as life-changing for you as the person you're influencing. And if you're in a good place because you have salt in your life, are you acting as a light to the world? Are you providing illumination, a reflection of Jesus' teachings? While it's easy to call someone out for what you perceive are their faults, it's much harder to model the proper way to act. Instead of leading with hate for the sin, lead with kindness for the sinner. This week, I want you to find one instance where you can show kindness, whether it be online or in person, an instance that maybe you would have led with your own beliefs or ideals first, but now you put that other person first. I want you to model behavior towards that person that you would not want to happen to you. Listen to other people's ideas. Listen to their story and find out what has led them to where they are today. Show them kindness, respect, and compassion. Of all the life changes that have happened to me since I have started attending Surprise Church, there are two that stand out to me. The first is the new people I have formed relationships with who have become such a large part of my life and my preservation. The second is learning the impact that I can make on people. I've attended multiple churches before Surprise, and I've never volunteered as many hours or put in as much work as I have here. But I also have never made this level of connection. I've never felt this important and needed. I've never thought I can make a difference in someone else's life and spirituality. With my SALT team preserving me and Surprise encouraging me to share my light, I feel compelled to share my experience with others. I hope that you've experienced this already. But if you haven't, I hope that you're willing to find some salt for yourself, to be salt to someone else, and to share your light with everyone. Not only will it make a profound impact on you, but also our city, our state, our country, our world. We need preservation and illumination now more than ever. And why can't that start with you? Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everything you give us. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for providing salt in our lives. Sometimes we use it to salt our food and to make it taste better, but I like to use it to pick myself up, to make myself stronger, to allow myself to carry on, and to turn into somebody that you want me to be so that I can reflect your light upon this world. Not everyone's ready for that spot yet in their life, and I hope that, Father, that you are able to give them strength to either find their salt or to impress upon them the need now more than ever to be that light to people in the world, because we need it. We need you. We need kindness. We need love. We need compassion. We need each other. I hope and pray that we will follow your way, the way that you intended, to invite people to share that love amongst each other and to become stronger as a group because of it. In your holy name, amen.
If you guys want to go ahead and stand as we sing this last song. Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down, every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Oh, and I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Oh, here is where I lay it down, shake up the ground. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. Yes, it is. And shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Yeah, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Yeah, your way is better. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to. To do whatever you want to. Do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender.